Hello and welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Jessica Clemons, and yesterday Sony Pictures released Venom 3: The Last Dance. And wasn't that the name of the Michael Jordan docuseries? Did they take the same name? Is he gonna be playing basketball? I don't know, but we should think about it. Regardless, this is the final movie in the Venom trilogy. He's come to Earth and fought his doppelganger, and now we're getting an alien invasion, and we're coming full circle for our boys. This trailer is also pretty insane. It is wild as hell. We have Dr. Connors, Mordo, and Spider-Man. So let's get through this trailer scene by scene and break down just what Sony's trying to do here. But first, of course, you can check out nerdriot.shop, where you can always find the latest and greatest New Rockstars merch, gear up for the biggest movie of the summer in Deadpool and Wolverine, or show your love for the Force and some Star Wars inspired merch. Grabbing some merch from nerdriot.shop is a great way to support the channel and all the work we do breaking down these properties for you each and every week. We opened the trailer in Mexico. Some folks released set photos back in June of 2023 of this beautiful location. The graffiti on the wall says, "Don't get lost" or "Don't miss out." And dang well, y'all know you don't want to miss out on this. Before Eddie enters into frame, we see the truck that's been shown and throughout the trailer. It belongs to the military base harboring the symbiotes, so they've been watching him for a while. When Eddie enters the shot, he's wearing the same outfit we last saw in Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and Spider-Man No Way Home's mid-credit scene. Minus, the hat, of course. As a reminder, in Let There Be Carnage, they were laying low and hiding, sitting in their hotel room, when suddenly they cross from their universe into Tom Holland's Spider-Man universe due to Doctor Strange's spell in No Way Home. Later in No Way Home's mid-credit scene, we watch drunken Eddie question the reality he's in with superheroes and aliens that don't eat heads that we know as Earth 616. That's when they're ripped from that universe again, but behind they leave an itty-bitty symbiote. We see Eddie use Venom's hand to break the lock. Then next we see the dogs barking in the kennels. In the same room, these men are pointing guns at Eddie, and the first man has a wolf buckle, the second man has a scorpion print on his jacket, and the last one has a symbiote belt buckle. This could be Sony bounding, like Disney bounding characters. It's their version of the scorpion, tarantula, and possibly man-wolf, J. Jonah Jameson's son, but that one's kind of hard to pin down. You let me know who you think that is in the comments. It looks like Eddie's gonna run into some version of what could be the cartel, and they don't know who the hell he is. Venom then kicks this man, and Eddie's wearing Crocs. What are those? Do people still say that? Am I that old? Our boys don't even have them in sports mode, which is insane. Go off, I guess. He kicks the man clean across the room. Then the man starts shooting at Eddie, who fully becomes Venom, absorbing each bullet. They free the dog that attacks the guy while Venom goes for the ankles, and in a very tag team wrestling style move, Venom extends Eddie out from his own form and like a puppet guides him to drop kick this man. Then as a unit, they try saying, "We are Venom." I love this scene because we saw it play out before in the first Venom movie, but it still sums up. They're still funny and out of sync at times. Also, he's still interrupting Eddie. Venom then eats the 4 heads of the bad guys in a row, and hell yeah, rock on. This movie is still unrated, so there's a chance we can still get a rated R movie for this. Between the head chomping and the knife cutting into the face, I have a little more faith than I did before. He then goes from Crocs to cowboy boots and a couple of new dogs, which feels like, the most Eddie Venom arc you can find. Then we open with Space Oddity by David Bowie. This is perfect for the trailer, not because it's a great song serenading Major Tom Hardy. You get it? But because the lyrics follow a man making it to space and the fear he won't make it back, like Eddie and Venom will find themselves in when space is coming for them. We're then taken to the military base. This is very Area 51 coded, so we see that truck from the beginning of the trailer driving through the booths. The truck drives behind a wall of fallen debris like a waterfall of dust. It's the same truck with the curtain hiding what's in the truck's bed. Behind the wheel is Juno Temple, who played Keely Jones in Ted Lasso. She will be playing Dr. Payne here, who specializes in symbiotes. There is also a Thaddeus Payne in Marvel Comics who experimented on Eddie Brock when he was separated from the symbiote. This could be a correlation to them. She's also wearing a 1947 Roswell, New Mexico shirt with a UFO on it, so she's cool as hell. This is in memory of the 1947 crash in Roswell, which was aliens. Definitely wasn't the US Army. It was aliens. Aliens. Then we see Mordo? It's not Mordo. We know it's not Mordo. This is Chiwetel Ejiofor, seems now to be like a US soldier, and I'll get into his character soon. This is clearly a military sanctioned base, just like Area 51. They have an array of different symbiotes under different lights. Each is slightly different colored than the next. The first one is like a reddish yellow and immediately reminds me of Scream because she's my favorite, and greenish yellow like Lasher. I think these are the symbiotes that could make up the 5 symbiotes spawned from Venom at the Life Foundation. This could be the beginning of that same fan favorite symbiotes appearing. The Life Foundation has already appeared in the first Venom movie, movie, but that doesn't mean the 5 symbiotes can't appear here, just like under a new different corporation, because they landed in the first movie. We don't really know where they went. Or these could just be a completely new 5 that have fallen off of Venom at one point or another. The bartender in No Way Home's mid-credit reaches for the leftover symbiote. This is at Earth 616. Then we see Chiwetel arrive. His character is still unknown, but a scooper from comicbook.com hinted he'd be playing Orwell Taylor from Marvel Comics. He led a team called The Jury, which also comes from Marvel Comics. US Agent was also a member of this team at one point. Allegedly, his son was killed by Carnage in the last movie as a security guard, which is why he's now swore to rid the world of symbiotes. This also follows the comic book storyline where Orwell's son died by Venom during a bank robbery. He arrives and captures the symbiote left at the bar. Now, what is interesting here is the bar looked vastly different than it did in No Way Home's mid-credit scene. Not only does the bartender have his hair down, but he's on the other side of the bar drinking a shot and a Bloody Mary. The bar was much more colorful in No Way Home. Here it's much dimmer. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Summer's almost here, but if you're feeling overwhelmed by the thought of beach days, pool parties, and barbecues, you might want to talk to somebody who can help you get in the right headspace to enjoy some hard-earned time off. And BetterHelp can help connect you to a therapist who's right for you. BetterHelp makes starting therapy easier and less intimidating for a lot of people. First, use our link to go to their site, betterhelp.com/newrockstars. The site will ask you to answer a few questions so BetterHelp can match you up with one of their over 30,000 therapists who they think can help you out the most. The therapist they pick for you will have tons of experience dealing with whatever you're going through. Every single one of their therapists is licensed, has a master's or doctorate degree, and has spent over 3 years and 1,000 hours working with people just like you. You'll be matched to a therapist usually within 48 hours, so you can get started fast. We've been promoting BetterHelp for a while and have heard some amazing feedback from you guys. We got permission to share this review from one of our viewers who said, "I've had a few therapists over the last couple of years. My therapist was the most open and accommodating therapist I've ever had. He listened when I needed to talk and told me some hard truths when I needed to listen. I couldn't recommend him more." Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you all from the comfort of your own home. Visit betterhelp.com/newrockstars or choose New Rockstars during sign up and enjoy a special discount on your first month. I want to reiterate, we saw Eddie Brock in the MCU during No Way Home scene. He left and the itty bitty symbiote was left behind in the MCU without Eddie there. There are a couple of theories or options for this. Having said that though, ultimately, I believe this is just a variant-like place. 2 bars in 2 different universes with Cristo Fernandez bartending. One in the MCU with the Venom symbiote and one in the Sony universe with the symbiote. When Eddie left, the symbiote stayed there, and when Eddie got back to his universe, I believe a piece fell off of him there too as well. He'll probably arrive in the same spot at the bar as he did with the resort's bedroom. I also like Voss's theory that the symbiote tried to latch onto the bartender and it freaked him out, so that's why his hair is down and he's having a drink. It just scared the hell out of him. And we know that this scene is in the Venom-verse because Chiwetel plays a different character in the Venom-verse that he did in the MCU. Temple's character looks like she has a neck tattoo at this point, and I think that's a scar on her neck instead. Thaddeus Payne in Marvel Comics could not experience sensations or pain. He was immune to all forms of pain in general. He would sometimes prove it by harming himself because he was a little wackadoo. This could be the scarring from that, or like Taylor, she also experienced loss at the hands of the symbiote and now hates them all. Dr. Payne mentions in the trailer that it's their job to ensure this all stays a secret, which seems impossible seeing as Carnage happened in the last movie. And I love that they either have cameras already set up like CCTV or they're hacking it like they did in Madam Web. Regardless, they have probably been tracking Eddie since Carnage. The trailer immediately switches to the military base, and as you can see, Eddie is in his Vegas suit clothes, so he'll reluctantly be captured, though seemingly get away. Venom screams, "Oh shit!" I just like that he says this, and I like that he says Jesus Christ later. I like him being older. The title card says this fall, which means they're getting another Venom movie in October. Each Venom movie is released in October, which is now my tradition. The military men are dropped from ropes into the water after Venom, and one of the men is holding a weird weapon here. Now, the Jury in the comics were equipped with different gadgets at different times, but later we see some of the weapons used to electrocute Venom. Ramshot of the Journey was equipped with a device from his wrist gauntlets that shot out like battering pulse blasts. I think that's what's electrocuting him underwater, but I also think it could be pre-built into their uniforms just like his was. But I also believe they are Mark I weapons and Mark I outfits because they probably have only been tested on Detective Mulligan, who they have trapped currently. I feel like that's ultimately how this also all ends. The military is no match for Venom, maybe for Detective Mulligan, but definitely not for Venom. But once all the symbiotes start coming in search of him, everyone's gonna be dead. Their weapons are literally no match to them, and I don't know why we thought they ever would be. As David Bowie sings, "This is Major Tom to ground control, I'm stepping through the door," Eddie fights for his life underwater. Even the posters have suggested that Eddie and Venom might have to separate. Till death do they part. They're stepping through the door to possibly their final chapter in life. This brings us to the fireworks over Vegas. We see the Park MGM, Hilton Grand, Hollywood, Trump Tower, Treasure Island that I think is actually going down, which is kind of sad. The trailer began in Mexico, so Eddie has traveled possibly through Arizona, I assume, which is about 26 or 27 hours, depending on where you are exactly in Mexico. Exhausted, Eddie Brock lays his head against a pillow and watches the fireworks, and I assume he's hitchhiked from Mexico. It's the same water bottle and pillow we see later in the trailer. He's in a suit, and I think he's outside the Venetian, and I think this entire hotel is the Venetian. There he sees Miss Chen, played by Peggy Liu, who has appeared in the last 2 movies, but also in Across the Spider-Verse. She's in a red dress, gambling at the slot machines. Now, why would she travel all the way for Eddie, or just randomly be there? These are the things we gotta question. I love them dancing together and spinning down the steps. There's a soft spot that he has for Miss Chen, and that always gets me, and I love it so much. Next thing we know, we're in hazmat suits, and we see Detective Mulligan from Let There Be Carnage. When we left him in the last movie, there was an inkling that he would be Toxin. Then the closed captions gave that away for us for this trailer. Toxin from the comics came from Carnage, who later bonded with Patrick Mulligan, and at first he used his powers as like a kind of superhero. Then eventually, did the exact opposite and he became a bad guy. Then it gets super freaky again. We get Rhys Ifan, who was Dr. Connors, aka the Lizard in The Amazing Spider-Man. The Lizard also appeared in No Way Home. He's here with both arms playing a guitar. What's even more funny is in a 2021 interview with Inverse for The King's Man, when asked if the Lizard survives No Way Home, which Marvel superhero would he want to fight next, his co-star, Djimon Hounsou, stepped in and said, "I think Venom would be interesting," to which he reassures, "Yeah, Venom and Lizard. I mean, that would be messy." Yeah. So he already called it. It was already gonna happen. Between this and Mordo showing up, it's up for speculation that this could be a Venom-verse variant, and this is the variant of Dr. Kirk Connors. I think it would be really fun to associate a free-spirited Connors with Vetti, but from the trailer alone, the movie seems respectfully like it's doing a lot, and shoving the Amazing Spider-Man in it isn't going to answer the questions we already have. And then as I say that, immediately I see these hexagon patterns in this quilt, like the multiverse patterns and Across the Spider-Verse, and I go, Miles Morales, where? I'm such a hypocrite. Eddie's in the back of the van, the same van in Vegas. It looks like they're just long distance traveling with this young boy who we want to be Spider-Man. In the front seats, you can see the 2 women, the older and the younger woman that we see later in the trailer. That's when the symbiote attacks the helicopter. This, I believe, is the xenophage. During this moment, Eddie says there has to be a reason they're after us, which is insane because my first idea would maybe be like, Carnage did happen last movie. Maybe they just got us confused because we're both 2 big ass aliens. That's when we see the meteors, and it makes sense to end the trilogy getting pieces of Venom's world finally, but I really wanted to see Null, and I know a lot of people did. It's way too late, in my opinion, to introduce that character because he's just too badass and there's just not enough time. So I'm fine with an alien invasion crash down to Earth in search of Venom. Also, as a reminder, Venom is from Clintar. He comes from a symbiote hive mind that connects them all to one another. Mulligan's eyes turn bright blue, and with that he says, as long as Venom lives, everyone will end. This segues us into this wild scene of the boy again. The woman on his right plays Sydney Sweeney's mom in Euphoria, so it's really a huge crossover event now. Regardless, right after this scene, we see Venom and the woman and the small boy falling from that tower, so danger is upon them. So people really want this to be Peter Parker and Aunt May, which I think is really fun. I do. I think there's a world in which every new Sony movie has a new baby Peter Parker, not necessarily Spider-Man yet, but still a very fun Peter Parker. It was rumored there would be a 10-year-old Peter Parker in Venom: The Last Dance, but this followed the same original plot line of Madam Web, which I don't really want now. But however, if they want to make this a young Peter Parker and Venom's protecting them from Toxin or any other symbiote, that would still kind of be the same plot as Madam Web. So they might just swap the idea wholeheartedly and have this boy just be a regular boy who looks like every Peter Parker. And honestly, I'll play devil's advocate. It's kind of messed up and kind of a missed opportunity to not have this be Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. That way he can finally fight aliens.
I want to fight an alien.
The trailer closes giving us what we never knew we needed, which is a Venom the Stallion. And my favorite part is how gentle he is with the horse, still ensuring it'll survive the bonding. And that's it for my breakdown for the trailer of Venom: The Last Dance. The trailer was literally insane. There is so much chaos going in. I don't even know what's gonna make it to the final cut, but I'm very interested to see the second trailer. This movie's not coming out until fall. I assume it's not coming out until October. So we have time to talk about it, theorize, be weirdos about it, and talk more about it in the comments. Follow me at Lulu_Clemons and subscribe to all 3 channels of the New Rockstars network for breakdowns and news coverage of everything you love. And I'll see you guys later.